Hello and welcome to the news roundup of the week. I'm Connie Rose. First up this week, the situation with journalist Jamal Khashoggi is escalating as the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo meets with Saudi leaders to discuss the investigation. Our foreign correspondent Connie Rose is live in Riyadh with more information. Connie.
Thanks, Connie. So I'm here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia's capital city, where Mike Pompeo has met with the king, who denied any involvement with the disappearance of Mr. Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul over 2 weeks ago. President Trump told reporters he believes it may have been rogue killers, but Pompeo since held talks with Erdogan, the Turkish president, and there have been sources that say Turkish officials believe Mr. Khashoggi was tortured and killed by Saudi agents. Whatever the truth, this mystery has tainted a 73-year-long partnership, which could seriously damage the USA's position in the Middle East and international relations there. Only time will tell whether the US would rather sacrifice their relationship with Saudi Arabia or allow a possibly state-sponsored murder to go unpunished. Back to the studio.
In other news, Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren released a DNA test in response to recent allegations about her heritage, which sparked some controversy. We now go over to our Democratic correspondent Connie Rose for more.
Thanks, Connie. So, Elizabeth Warren, Democratic Senator for Massachusetts, has received major backlash from the Cherokee Nation after claiming that the trace amounts of Native American DNA she has gives her Native American heritage. President Trump tweeted that her bogus test shows she may be 1024th Cherokee, and even they don't want her. He even called her Pocahontas. Mrs. Warren replied with, "DNA and family history has nothing to do with tribal affiliation, which is determined only by the tribal nations. Many analysts who believe she may run against Trump for presidency in 2020 are concerned this may have hurt her chances, but nothing's confirmed yet." Back to the studio.
With the midterms approaching, Republican operatives are becoming worried about the fundraising done for Democrat candidates' campaigns, as it could be a threat to the Republican majority in the House of Representatives. This so-called green wave has meant that $2 million has been raised by Andy Kim in New Jersey, Sean Casten in Chicago, and Jared Golden in Maine. Candidates such as Kim Schreier in Seattle, Josh Harder in California, Amy McGrath in Kentucky, and Katie Hill in Los Angeles have managed to raise over $3 million, which will allow them to spend much more on television advertisement and digital ads, giving them a massive advantage in their campaigns. Next up, some information has been released about Donald Trump's proposed binary choice policy for immigration. Our immigration correspondent Connie Rose has the full report.
Imagine you're a child far from home. Without warning, federal officers take you in the middle of the night, put you on a bus and send you halfway across the USA to live in a tent city in a desert wasteland. This is the reality for around 13,000 children being held in detention centres barely suitable for prisoners. The children have no access to education, stripping them of human rights but also of their childhood. A new policy is being proposed as an alternative, known as the binary choice policy.
The policy would give detained migrant families two options: remain detained together while their case goes through the system, or allow the children to be released from custody after 20 days while their parents stay imprisoned. While this policy is still being considered by officials, it has been under discussion since July. In relation, President Trump did not give a straight answer when asked whether his administration would continue to separate families. Either way, a 1997 federal court settlement forbids children from being detained longer than 20 days, something which the Trump administration has been trying to get around for a while, even trying to write a new federal regulation to nullify it. But one thing is for sure, camps like these are no place for children, who undertake treacherous journeys from dangerous, oppressive environments only to arrive at another dangerous, oppressive environment in a country which is supposed to be free. Back to the studio.
In other news, a former Senate Intelligence Committee staffer, James Wolfe, has pleaded guilty to one count of lying about his contact with reporters, avoiding what could easily have been a high-profile trial causing Capitol Hill staffers to be subpoenaed. Wolfe is currently facing up to 6 months in prison. And the American Bar Association has announced it will no longer review its well-qualified rating of Brett Kavanaugh. Our legal correspondent Connie Rose has more.
Thanks, Connie. So I'm here in front of the Supreme Court, where Brett Kavanaugh is hoping to sit. After the Senate confirmed Kavanaugh's nomination, an American Bar Association official announced the inquiry into his rating will be dropped. The official cited the policy, which ends the rating process once a nominee has been announced. The White House, Senate Republicans, and even Kavanaugh himself have approved and encouraged the Supreme Court's rating of well qualified. According to the American Bar Association's website, 125 of the 131 federal judicial nominees put forward by President Trump have been rated either qualified or well qualified, calling into question the legitimacy of the ratings. Back to the studio.
And now over to our independent correspondent Connie Rose for an update on the Independent Party. Connie?
This is live, isn't it? I'm so fired.
Do you have that update for us?
An update? What? On the Independent? Oh, yeah, hang on. I've got it here somewhere. Canada legalised weed. Go Canada. You know who else wants to legalise weed? Bernie Sanders. Feel the burn. Feel the burn. If you feel the burn here, feel the burn here. We're independent! Woo! I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. Sorry. From everybody in the studio, thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Goodbye.